If you've watched all the movies up to this point, you probably have a pretty good handle on how to use Contribute to edit and update a website by now. So in this chapter, we're going to cover some important information you'll need to know if you intend on being the administrator of your site. It should be clear by now that the site administrator controls the abilities of Contribute users and determines what they can and can't do on the website. We'll talk specifically about setting yourself up to be an administrator in Contribute in the next movie, but in this movie, I want to first take some time to discuss some things that you'll want to keep in mind when you're prepping your site in Dreamweaver, because it's likely that as the site administrator, you're also the site designer, and you're probably working in Dreamweaver, and there are some steps you can take to make it easier for Contribute users to work with your site designs. Specifically, I want to talk about creating templates in Dreamweaver. Even if you're not a site administrator, you may still want to watch these movies to understand the details and constraints involved in creating templates. As we saw in Chapter 3, templates built in Dreamweaver are accessible to Contribute users who have access to the site and who have permission to access particular templates. As the site administrator, you can allow only certain users to access certain templates. For example, you could allow Contribute users in the marketing department access only to templates designed for marketing use, and Contribute users in, say, human resources access only to templates designed for HR use. When you create a template in Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver creates a folder called templates in the root folder of the site and stores the template as a file with the DWT extension for Dreamweaver template. And you can see that here in my files panel here. There's the templates folder that Dreamweaver generated when I created a template, and there's the actual template itself. In this case, it's about.t.dwt, and that's the file that I'm looking at right here. You can tell I'm working in a Dreamweaver template because it says template in these double braces, and it has, again, .dwt at the end of the file name. Now, normally, if you're a Dreamweaver user and you're not working with Contribute, you don't need to publish your templates folder to the web server because there's no need for anyone to access them on the actual live website. But if you are working with Contribute users, you absolutely must publish the templates folder to the web server. Otherwise, the templates won't show up in Contribute. Also be sure not to move the templates folder to another location. It has to stay right here in the top level of the main root folder. Also, you'll want to make sure that your Contribute users understand the nature of templates. If you change a template, all the pages created from that template will change as well, so it's entirely possible that a Contribute user will be working on a page one night and come back to work on it again in the morning to find that it looks completely different because you changed the look of the template. This is the reason Contribute always downloads and synchronizes the site templates every time it connects to a site. Now, the key feature of templates that makes them so appealing to site designers is that you can assign editable regions. In any area or element of a template that you designate as editable, Contribute users will be able to add or edit content. Any region not specified as editable is non-editable by default, and Contribute users won't even be able to do so much as select items in those regions. Again, you saw this in action in templates in Chapter 3, where I was able to edit some sections of a template-based page, but not other sections. And you can easily identify editable regions because they're outlined with these boxes. You can see right here we have the box around page heading, and they all have these tabs that contain the name of the editable region. In this case, it's page heading. So Contribute users will only be able to edit and add content to these editable regions. Any changes you make to the non-editable regions on a template will ripple throughout the site and change any pages based on the template. This is a really great feature because even though you may drastically change the appearance of a page, as long as the editable regions don't change names, any content that Contribute users have created will be placed in the new page layout just fine. So here are a couple guidelines to keep in mind when designing a site that will be updated by Contribute users. Now, Contribute users are most likely not web designers. They're probably more familiar with programs like Microsoft Word than with full-fledged web design programs like Dreamweaver. So it becomes extremely important to use templates whenever possible. That way, Contribute users will only need to know how to add content to editable regions. And you as the designer won't have to worry about them accidentally breaking something on the rest of the page's layout. When you add an editable region, let's go ahead and add one. I'm going to select the page content and page subheading text that I've placed there. And we do so by going to the Insert menu, to Template Objects, and we can choose Editable Region. So when you create an editable region, you want to make sure to give each region a name that clearly indicates the kind of content that's supposed to go in there. So don't use something like you see here, Edit Region 4. That really doesn't tell anybody anything. Instead, use a name like Body Text or Current Data Chart or Main Page Content, basically what you want to go in here. In fact, I might call this Main Page Content. And then click on OK. And there's your Main Page Content editable region. And you can even put some sample formatted text in the editable region to further assist the Contribute users in figuring out what they're supposed to add here. Just name them descriptively like we have here. This is supposed to be the page subheading, obviously, and this is supposed to be the page content. So Contribute users will be able to edit this content and actually add a real subheading here and start typing some real content, and it's already going to be formatted the way we've set it up here. So the important thing is to name everything descriptively. And the same goes for any cascading style sheets you create. Don't name styles things like Style 1 or Bold Red. Instead, name your styles after the elements they're intended to format. For example, headline, subhead, body text, product description, and so on. But also keep in mind that unless it's necessary for contribute users to style text, you can always choose not to allow them to style text. If the contribute users are primarily editing text, you can change their user roles so that they may only edit text and not change styles, and we'll see how to do that in upcoming movies. Similarly, if it's part of the contribute user's job to publish images, either set up their accounts so that they have to send the pages to you for review before they can be published, or set up Contribute's feature that automatically resizes large images to a more reasonable size. This allows you to make sure that users aren't putting these huge, enormous image files on your web pages. And again, we'll see how to control that in a later movie as well. Also, unless you know exactly how much content each contribute user is supposed to place in an editable region, don't go too overboard designing the template page. Go ahead and add common elements like logos and page navigation, but be sure to leave enough room in the design for the page to expand if the contribute user needs to add a large amount of text. And finally, it's highly recommended that you create a written set of instructions that explain how and when to use the templates and styles you've created. It may be inconvenient to spend time to write up a document like that, but it'll be much more inconvenient every time you have to stop what you're doing to teach a contribute user how to use your templates. So those are just a few things to keep in mind when you're designing a website that's going to be edited by contribute users. Now, of course, if you want to learn more about creating templates and about using Dreamweaver overall, be sure to check out my Dreamweaver CS3 Essential Training title on the lynda.com online training library. In the next movie, we'll be back in Contribute, and we'll look at how to set yourself up as a site administrator.